Hello guys, welcome back to another Dizod 500 video. This is me after I filmed the video, and this one took a lot of time. I want to end this channel after making it, but here you go, as you guys requested. Ranking every Mario Kart track, part 10. Um, yeah, so please leave a like, please, please. Number 120, NS Super Bell Subway. A nice track with an interesting idea and a decent layout, I guess. But in all reality, it's just kind of mid, really. Yeah, but a nice idea still, regardless. But still, I just don't understand why um, people give it a lot of credit. I don't know, it's not really that popular, but still, I think it's a good idea, but poor execution at the end of the day. 99 N64 Calamari Desert. Ooh, we're getting pretty controversial with this one. But again, I don't see trains as that interesting in the Mario Kart universe. Sure is that there's that area that you're not really supposed to go to, but everyone goes through it anyways. But still, that's not really part of the track. So that's why I don't really enjoy it that much. But again, I hate trains. Sue me. Everybody, please. I just don't think it's an interesting idea to Mario Kart, but still, at the end of the day, it's a very good track, a decent idea, and they could have gone 100 places with this, but they went this way, and unfortunately for them, it only ends in 99th place. For me, and talk about controversial, number 98, NS Mount Wario. Yeah, I've never really liked Mount Wario. I'm not afraid to admit that. So what is a section track on a mountain? The mountain track is cool, but just because it's not the same thing over and over again doesn't mean it's good. Sometimes you want to do the same thing over and over again, especially if it has split paths, which again, yes, Mount Wario does have, and that's why I didn't put it last. But to me, Mount Wario, it just I think it's good to end off the Star Cup, but pretty boring. Circling back to the trains, number 97 is 3DS and 64 Calamari Desert. And I'll put it here because it's basically the same as Calamari Desert, but I do think it's a tad bit better. Yes, I know you can't go into the area where the train would go, but honestly, I think that was a good idea because I know there's gonna be some little Timmy out there who decides to go through there and get mad when they're in eighth place, right? So overall, I think it's a good idea, but because me and you, we're not the only people playing Mario Kart, right? 5-year-olds are as well, so that change is probably necessary for them. But I think it's also better, a bit better, because it's more so the controls. I know that's very not something that Calamari Desert from N64 can control. It's not their fault, but I just feel like the 3DS one it makes it better, in my opinion. Number 96, NS Cloud Top Cruise. I picked that because I don't know why people really think it's good. I know it's based off a game that was kind of good. That doesn't mean the track is good. And I know, yes, the visuals are pretty good, but the layout overall it's decent, but it's not overly great. And the electricity storm thing at the end really does bump it up, but there are a bunch of things that bring it down. Number 95, 3DS Mako Woohoo. I know that is very high up for many people, but for me, it's kind of lower to the bottom, as you could see. 95, though, it is higher than the midway. And because I do think that having all the options that you can go to in Mako Woohoo is pretty cool, but overall, at least in my opinion, most of the track is quite unmemorable. And I know, yeah, most people are going to say it's epic because it is a section track, it doesn't have 3 laps. But again, to me, that doesn't really mean anything. So, yeah, I think Maka Woohoo it's a pretty cool track and a decent idea. Like, I can see why they did it. I just personally, if it was me that made the decision to put one track on or another, I would likely not choose Maka Woohoo. You know what I mean? 94, 3DS Wii Maple Treeway. I've already made my point very clear that I'm not a big fan of Maple Treeway. Maybe that's because autumn isn't my favorite season, but also more so because, yeah, the layout is a bit too much. There's the branches of course, which is easier, yes, in 3DS because I'm a big wimp, but it still shouldn't be like the that hard. You know what I mean? And also, I just feel like it's just not as good as most of the other 3DS retro tracks are. But for the most part, for most fans, I do think Nintendo made a really good decision by putting this in because it is of course, a fan favorite. 93. NSGCN Sherbetland. Undoubtedly better than the original. I think that some of the magic wasn't actually lost, but there was more magic added. And I feel like that the track being able to go into the water is a big improvement and makes it actually one of the better tracks and definitely a good inclusion to be in the tracks as in Mario Kart 8. Of course, that was a pretty bad decision, but other than that, I do like the layout of this track. 92. 3DS Mario Circuit. And that's it for the Mario Circuit tracks. And I feel like it's probably the best one of them all because you do go into Peach's Castle, and I do believe that the sentiment about this track is that it is the best Mario Circuit. I was really confused that they didn't put it in the Booster Course Pass because it's in Tour. It really does make Tour feel like Tour. It's just, uh, it's one of those tracks that would make more sense than like Mario Circuit 3. So, yeah, but why I think it's good is because, well, I mean, yeah, ish. It's because of the pipe at the end and because of Peach's Castle that really bring up how good this track really is. Number 91, GBA Cheeseland. We're not just done with the GBA tracks yet, but it's very impressive that a GBA track managed to get into the top 100. And Cheeseland rightfully deserves its place here for being such an innovative and new idea and track for a game like Super Circuit that was held back by Mode 7. And while I do think that the track's ranking is getting held back by Mode 7, I do think that he was able to somewhat overcome it because of the little jumps and stuff that usually take you across where you're trying to go, but sometimes it doesn't. But whatever. I do think that this track deserves its spot up in the upper 90s. 90. NSSNES Rainbow Road. I mean, seriously, how much better can a remake of a flat track really do to it? Not much, although I do like the vibrant aesthetics of the road, and of course, when the swamp comes down, it shakes the road, giving you tricks. And I just overall like the really 90-degree turns, really. Those are probably the best parts, although they did make them a little bit smoother, but still. Number 89, DS GBA Sky Garden. GBA Sky Garden was a very interesting track in Sky Garden and Super Circuit, which is why I imagine people like it so much in that game. But in the DS, it just feels kind of bland. It's really just flat. Really, could they have done nothing else to the track to make it interesting? Nothing? But on the other hand, it's very cool to drive through a layout with those visuals. So there's kind of two sides to it. 88. NSGBA Riverside Park. Yeah, I know I'm going to have a hard time arguing why this one is higher than Cloud Top Cruise, but I was very excited to see this one in Wave 4. And the layout and the visuals give it just the slight edge over all of the tracks that we've talked about so far. Not to mention that the music is also very good, and the revamp that they did over the original is insanely incredible, and those piranha plants are always a big help for me. We're gonna have a little bundle now. 87, GCN Daisy Cruiser, a fan favorite, which I just think, well, if you asked me a couple years ago, I would say the Daisy Cruiser is one of the best tracks in the series, which I don't think that really. It's a cool track, it's a cool idea, but the layout is just basically Baby Park with a couple of turns, and which leads me to 86 NS GCN Daisy Cruiser, which is just the same with enhanced graphics and oh, look, you can go underwater now. Which again, 85 3DS GCN Daisy Cruiser. Why is this one better than the rest of them? Okay, God knows. I don't know. Maybe because I don't know. I just like it better. 84. Wheeze Bowser Castle. I don't really know what the consensus of this track is. I can't imagine it's too positive, but the layout is good, I'll give it that. And the fiery Bowser is also pretty good. It's just the end part that's a little bit more boring to me. It's very stereotypical Bowser's Castle, and you want to go above stereotypical Bowser's Castle if you want to get higher than 84th place on my list. 83rd, GCN Waluigi Stadium. I understand why this track is beloved. It's a very cool track about Waluigi, but just because it's about Waluigi doesn't instantly make it great. Let's wake up. Although the stadium part is pretty nice, I just find the layout to be a bit tedious. It's really just turn or straight. And that little part with the piranha plant is cool and all, but I just think there's not enough substance in this track to make it that good, really. 82. NSGCN Baby Park. With Baby Park, it's either you love it or you hate it, but I've put it in the middle. And that's because it doesn't have the same pizzazz as the original one. Yes, it has 7 laps, but the biggest item on the board or on the track is probably like a bullet bill, which, let's be honest, won't do you much damage if you're on either side of the track. But I do think Baby Park, it's still magical, and of course, the visuals add a big bump to it. 81. GBA Sky Garden. The original Mode 7 version, which no one wants to watch, which is why I just put a picture on the screen. Sky Garden is it's pretty fun, at least. The layout is definitely more extreme for a Game Boy Advance track. The visuals are fine, but again, it's Mode 7. I know that has nothing to do with the track, but still, Mode 7. It's really holding it down. And lastly for this video, it's 80 GCN Rainbow Road, a track with amazing visuals that is held right over Mushroom City from the game. I just can't put my finger on it why I don't really think it deserves to be in the top 79. But Rainbow Road overall, it's a very good track with a very decent layout, and this is where we start to get to the tracks where I speak more positively of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and I say please because this took me a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of stress. So please like, please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Please, peace.